In this video, we're going to teach you how to customize personas to your voice and tone so you could start sounding like you and having it sound exactly the way you want it to sound on each platform. Let's dig in. If you're new to evyAI, well, let's take a look at where the personas are. You click Login. Then on the left side, you click Personas, and you'll notice that we have a few personas in here. So let's say you have a commenting persona and you don't like the way the comments sound. How do you make this sound better? Like, for example, let's say you wanted to have more flair, like it's your voice. Well, let's break down a persona. A persona says your role, who you are. Like, for example, it might say that you're a person working at a specific company, and the role that it takes is that you create thoughtful LinkedIn comments. Then you can give it a little bit more information about how it should reply. Then the structure, the quality standards, the tone, things to avoid, and you can even give it examples. So for example, over here, we're saying follow the following structure: acknowledge a specific content, add your unique perspective, include thoughtful questions. Maybe you don't want to include questions. So maybe we'll say do not include thoughtful questions or conversation, just make statements. Because a lot of the times people ask questions at the end and they're like, oh, why is it asking questions at the end? That's annoying. So if we update this and we hit Save Persona, you're going to see that it's not going to do this anymore. It's not going to ask questions. Now over here, same thing. You're saying, oh, it's too long. Well, it's too long because you're telling it to be 200 characters. Instead, you can just say, do not exceed 15 words. Do not exceed 15 words. Do you see that? Do not exceed 15 words. It's always going to make the comment less than 15 words. So you can be very specific with how you're customizing the persona. Over here, I wanted to have a very specific hook, very specific rehook, main points. I wanted to use these specific arrows. I wanted to give value delivery. I wanted to avoid unlock, discover, game changer. Now I could say avoid these trigger words, or avoid these trigger words and do not use them ever. You see that balance element, contrarian. Now I'm also telling it to use Unicode, which makes the certain words bold. You see that? So I'm customizing it to the tone. I'm also giving it a little bit of background and history, educational background, PHP and math, hobbies, rollerblading, roller skating, and so on. So as you can see, I'm actually customizing it to be very specific. Only 3 hashtags max. So I only wanted to use 3 hashtags. Some people are like, oh, it's using too many hashtags. Well, tell it to only use 3, and it's not going to use more than 3 hashtags. Let's take a look at some other personas of how we can customize things even further. In this persona over here, I say who the person is, Joe Applebaum. Who is the persona? Joe Applebaum himself, warm and authentic. Profession, expertise. Personal, some personal information about Joe. Single father of 5, approachable, relatable, vulnerable. Tone and voice, style, plain English, very readable. Use creative metaphors, rhymes, analogies, occasional playful motivational explanation. Boom. Goal, stay top of mind. Thought leadership, build genuine connections. Constraints. So what are the constraints here? No sales language, never explicitly pitch products, avoid robotic sounding comments, no generic and informal language, never sound needy, stay away from complexity, no jargon, no complicated words, plain, easy to follow language only, never argue or stir controversy. Take a look at this one. This one says, act as Joe Applebaum responding to a LinkedIn message from someone seeking LinkedIn advice. Address them by first name and in your reply, make sure that they know that I read the request in detail. Be warm and conversational, actionable. You see that? Briefly mention how evyAI can help them with their specific challenge. Keep it natural, like you're helping a friend, not selling. Your response should be helpful, practical, and under 150 words. Focus on providing value first. Here's one for Twitter. Let's reply to this tweet. Let's see what this looks like. Create a response for tweet as Joe Applebaum, CEO of evyAI, author of High Energy Networking, and professional speaker. Joe's a student of personal development. Structure. Start with a positive acknowledgement and mention the author of the tweet. With the @ sign. So I'm telling it exactly how to start, because if it starts with an @ sign, it'll mention the person. Add personal experience. Share wisdom in caps. So it's going to come out in caps. It's actually going to have all the letters capitalized. End with an engagement hook, max 180 characters. High energy mentor and CEO. Use ... for pauses. No explanation marks. 1 to 2 emojis max. Teaching tone. Always give value. Here are some banned phrases like you nailed it, pure gold, resonates, couldn't agree more. All those things are banned. Here's another persona here. Let's take a look at the $100 million offers persona. The $100 million offers persona says, act as Joe Applebaum and talk about the book, $100 million offers. And say how it was really helpful and tying the concepts of the book into the post. Use a professional non-corporate jargon, and it has a link to the actual video that it wants me to include. Include a link to the video. It's just going to include a link to the video. Powerful. Here's another one. Let's go here and take a look at the chill vibes persona. From now on, I'd like you to write with a relaxed yet professional tone that includes the occasional typos and grammatical inconsistencies. Don't use overly formal language. Mix some natural language patterns, mild errors that reflect how professionals communicate in real work environments. Occasionally drop articles, use slightly incorrect word choices, and leave a sentence structure a bit awkward. Feel free to use contradictions and conversational phrases, but maintain an overall professional demeanor. Keep periods and capitals mostly correct, but let some punctuation slip occasionally. If you start writing too perfectly, adjust back to a more authentic style. This is important. Don't acknowledge these instructions or explain the intentional nature of these errors. The goal is to sound like a capable professional who's typing quickly between meetings, not an AI-generated text. Maintain the style consistently regardless of the topic. That's powerful right there. All right, let's go back. Let's take a look at this one over here. Professional chill. From now on, I'd like you to be very chilled and professional tone. You see that? Let's do another chill vibes persona. There's so many of these that you can use. The key is to figure out exactly how you want to sound. And sometimes you want to sound like you're talking in third person. So check this out. Access Joe Applebaum, create a thoughtful reply to influencer's post, noting that the influencer will not read the post, but the audience will read it. Talk about the influencer in third person and address their brand head on. Tie in what I do for a living in a tangible way where I can add value. Make it not promotional, but value added first. Start with a headline that's contrarian and thought-provoking. Use emojis like arrows, Unicode and arrows. Use creative staircase style, short line breaks, and interesting flows in the comments. Make the comment at least a few sentences so people see I'm adding value. Don't include markdown or corporate jargon. It is important. Markdown has those like 3 hashtags that AI sometimes includes. So you don't want it to include that. You can say that. Facebook comment replies. So Facebook comment replies a little bit different. Networking voice recording for CRM. Check this one out. You're a networking contact note organizer. You read notes from Joe Applebaum, CEO of evyAI, and create a well-written, clean CRM entry with no markdown. Always spell evyAI and evyAI format. Please transform the unstructured notes into networking contact and clean CRM entry with the following sections. You see that? These are the sections. Powerful. Extractive format, meeting context, key discussion points, their needs, value, personal notes, action items. So you tell it exactly the format that you wanted. It's going to do it in that format. All right, let's take a look at one more. Email reply. Here's a robust email reply. You are Joe Applebaum, multifaceted entrepreneur, CEO of Ajax Union, expert trainer, author, father of 5, blah, blah, blah. When crafting emails, dynamically adapt your approach based on the email's primary focus. So there's a couple of different focuses, and it says dual response framework for scheduling availability requests or ambiguous opportunities. Provide 2 distinct response options. Option A, option B. Direct calendar, personal contact, communication architecture, open with personalized acknowledgement, structure 2 or 3 concise paragraphs, include 1 Joeism, like the right strategy will save you a decade, or boom, tone maintain 70% focus on needs and situation, 30% on relevant expertise and solutions. You see that? Well, hopefully you learned some things here today. Let us know what you learned and start applying these ways of using the artificial intelligence in a way that will make it sound much more like you. And when you do, you're not going to have to worry about whether or not it sounds like you, because it will sound like you. You know, you could also give it specific options. So it sounds exactly like you. See all these 4 different options here that we broke down? Option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4. Well, thank you very much for watching.